Welcome back to the plot, everyone. It's a very, very windy day here in Exeter today, so I've decided not to record while I'm actually filming, but I'll overdub things when I get back home. Last week I actually finished emptying the one side of my compost bin, so today I'm going to turn the other side over and turn the compost over from the full side into the empty side. Plus I'm going to add some new stuff that I've brought up from home. I've got bags and bags of this stuff at home, so it'll be good to get rid of some of that. So I don't actually know how long this has been in here, but there's quite a good mixture of brown waste, which is a lot of the straw stuff, and green waste, which has got more nitrogen in it. So the brown waste has got most of your carbon in it, and the green waste, which is grass clippings and plant leaves and things like that, has all the nitrogen in it, which gives you the good combination for your compost. So as I said before, I've had quite a lot of bags out the right hand side one. I think it's about 15 bags at the last time of counting. So it's worthwhile doing, especially the price of compost at the minute. And it's one of the things I can honestly say it's peat free compost as well, because I don't have a source for that. So while I'm actually doing this, I'm, as usual, listening to a podcast as I work away. I just got my headphones on and I'll listen to a podcast. I've got lots of them on my iPod. All sorts of things, from politics to comedy to gardening. Sometimes I listen to Gardener's Question Time when I'm at the allotment. Sometimes it's politics. Other times comedy or light entertainment. But it just helps pass away the time if I'm here by myself. I can put my headphones on and just crack on and get some work done. But as I'm forking all this compost or straw, whatever, into the other bin, you can just see in the foreground the rain spots appearing on the corrugated steel frame of this compost bin. So it's not a perfect day for gardening. It's very windy and it has started raining. In fact, my compost bag is just blown up to the top of the garden there. But I think I shall have to call it a day here and go and do something else. Time for a tea or a coffee, I think, because the rain's just getting a bit far too heavy. So time for coffee and biscuits, and I'll come back to this later. So I retreated to the little polytunnel and had a cup of coffee and a few biscuits while I waited on the rain to stop raining. But the wind just got a little bit windier, and the rain just kept coming. So I've left the camera actually in the polytunnel pointing out. But what I'm doing here is I'm weeding this bed, getting rid of all the weeds, and I'm going to cut down all the brown raspberry canes to about an inch or two from the ground, 5 or 6 centimetres. So these are actually summer fruit and raspberry. They're called polka, yeah, I'm sure that's what they're called. And I've had them for quite a few years now, and they just get more and more abundant because they send out all these runners. If you look in the next bed up, it's got some raspberry canes in there, because the raspberries in the bed I'm working on, they will send horizontal runners underneath the ground, and they come up in this other bed. They also come up in the path as well, but because I mow the grass there in the path between the two beds, they just get chopped down and then they don't amount too much. So what I'm going to do today is cut all these down to about, as I say, 2 inches from the ground, and give the bed a good weeding, take out any bindweed that I can see. But these big clumps of grass as well, they're going to come out, and they can all get put in the compost bin where I was working earlier. I mean, you can probably see some of the bags of compost just behind me as I'm over putting things in the compost bin. So I wear compost every day. This compost that I've bagged up, I'll be using some of that for my potatoes this year, and any that's left over will be getting used in the raised planter that I'm making for my carrot bed this year. But yeah, I've just got another podcast on, listening to another podcast, getting on with the work, got my hood up as well, so that give me a little bit of protection from the wind and the rain. It's not raining that heavy at the minute, but it's just not the best day to be out gardening. But try and crack on and get a few things done, and get this bed finished. It's one of the jobs that I've been meaning to do for a while, but I just haven't got round to it. I've been kind of busy. Last weekend I was digging out the compost bin, and the weekend before I was away visiting my partner's family in Windsor. So we were away in Windsor for the weekend. We had a nice time there. It was nice to see everyone. But yeah, there was no gardening done at the allotment. So I'm just going to crack on with this and leave you to some music. Well, it's Sunday and we're back up the allotment, and this is why we left early yesterday, the amount of rain that was falling. It was just too wet to continue working. Hopefully this puddle's not too deep. It should be okay. I can see the grass poking through the surface just there. So we'll get through this and get up to my plot and get on some work. Might be better off with a canoe than a car. Well, there doesn't seem to be many people here today. Just saying, it's a nice, although it has rained so far today, we've had some sharp showers. It's a nicer day today than what it was yesterday. If anybody's wondering what this little shed is at the back, it's our compost toilet. So, a bit of DIY today, but first things first is I'm going to change the blade on my little saw. This is another tool by Works, same company that makes my strimmer and my lawnmower. So I can use the batteries in all these tools, the same batteries. You can maybe just about see how badly worn the old blade is compared to the new one. Trust me, it is badly worn. The teeth are hardly visible there on the old blade. So I'm just going to put on a new blade. I mean, it's quite a good wee little saw. It's just the blade's not very deep. So for a lot of what I'm going to be using it today, cutting thick wooden battens, the blade will only get about 2/3 of the way through that. Then I'll need to do the rest by hand, which isn't a hardship. I could do it all by hand, but this is just a little bit quicker. And I'll get a straighter cut as well. It's better used for thin planks and sheets of wood. It's very, very good on sheets of wood because there's a guide you can put on it as well to run along the edge of the wood. So that's a brand new blade put on. All that remains to be done is to put a battery in and give it a quick test. So I'm just going to measure up the wood. This is going to be for the legs of the table. They're going to be 1 metre long, so I'll just mark them off. So 1 metre long. Then I'll get my little saw and see if I can saw through them. I'll just clamp it to the table to stop it moving around while I'm sawing it. I'll free up my other hand as well, so I can use both hands to hold the saw steady. As predicted, the saw will only get so far through, and I've got to finish off using the handsaw. But it's still a lot quicker, and I get a straight guide cut from the mechanical blade to start with. Okay, so now I'm just going to put these boards across the planks to hold them all together, to assemble the top of my table. Nice when this is all done, it means I can leave this table out in the wet. The other table I'm actually using at the minute is not strong enough or heavy duty enough. It's just for indoor decorating. It's not really suitable for leaving out in all weathers. But this one with the decking boards should be strong enough and robust enough to stay outside in all weathers. So I'm just going to screw these across, then I'm going to measure up some of the other parts of wood that I need for this and for another project. Then I'll cut them out size, get the paint out and paint them, but don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and let you watch me paint wood all afternoon. I think you know how that one goes. So let's just have a look at things, see what the top surface is going to be like. That's okay. I can trim the edges as well. You look on the right hand edge, they don't match up. I can take a couple of centimetres off the end so that it's nice and straight. So these wood battens, they're 2,400 millimetres long. Sorry, I'll do that in centimetres. 240 centimetres long. So what I want is long ones at 180 centimetres long, and I want short ones at 60 centimetres long, which gives us a grand total of 240 centimetres, which means I'm using every part of these joist battens and getting the most from each piece of wood. Also means I won't have to cut it once, and I'll show you where these are going to go in a minute. Yeah, I never thought of that. So these are going to go on the bottom, along the long edge, along the short edge, and they will link up perfectly to size. Next job, go on with some painting. Okay, let me give you a quick look around and show you what I've been up to this weekend before the next band of rain comes along. It's been okay this weekend, sorry, this afternoon, but there is another band of rain on its way. So I'll give you a quick look around, and then I'll pack up all my tools and head back home. So let me swing the camera around. Right. Well, there's been a lot of sawing and measuring the wood. These ones here, these four here, are going to be the new legs for the table. These are going to be some of the supports onto the table, along with those two big ones there. So those will go across the length of the table, and these smaller ones will go across that way. Then they'll be more or less up here. So I'll have the long ones going along here. I'm getting paint all over my hand, so it'll be like that, and the legs will screw in like that. That's the plan. We'll find out next week whether it works okay. These are just the corner posts from a new raised bed that I'm building. I'm building since last year. You can see the parts of it are lying down on top of that ground sheet, but that's okay. Parsnips, great. As you can see, the leaves are coming back. What happens is after the first year, the frost decimates the leaves, but come after this, once the weather starts warming up again, the new leaves start growing. And in fact, parsnips are like carrots, they're like a biennial, so which means they take 2 years to go from seed to seed. So obviously they've already gone through 1 year, so this will be the second year, and if I left them in there, they would eventually create a flower spike and flower and seed, and that would be 2 years from seed to seed. As you can see, I've been having all the tools out with me today. Let's have a look. Beans, still not made up my mind about these beans, although they're looking a bit healthier at the minute. That's looking quite good, and that one is as well. So we'll see what happens. It's still early days. Okay, I've got 4 little cauliflowers here, and I mean little. You can barely make them out. But there's 4 of them. There's a spring cabbage, and I've got 12 pak choy. I've thought I'd bring them down here because they were just getting leggy in the conservatory back home, so I'll bring them down here and see how they get on. Can't do much work in the shed back home at the minute because we have 2 little blue tits nesting in the bird box on the side. Yeah, it'd be nice if they have the young and clear off. This is the section that's going to be used for my planter, and it's going to be going here. So I might take more soil over, and I'm trying to sort of build it up because it's on a slope. So yeah, try and get more soil there to build this end up. This bed hasn't been touched since last year. It's covered over, and I can feel the rain coming in already. Some compost in here that needs dug out. This bed hasn't been touched. Pots in the bags, just waiting for the potatoes this year. This bed, we started off digging out this bed yesterday, but the rain just got too bad for us, and we ended up calling it a day and going home. There was quite a lot of rainfall yesterday, although we did get all this bed weeded out. This is a raspberry bed, and you can, if I get in close, you can just see some new raspberry leaves coming out, so that's all good. I got this finished yesterday as well. You can see all the raspberry canes that are chopped down. A lot of this is still breaking down. There's a lot of worms in there. Usually I think, well, I'm not an expert, but to my way of thinking, if there's lots of worms in your compost, it's because it hasn't been broken down enough yet, because there's still organic matter there for the worms to feast on. So usually when I find out, I get to the bottom of the compost bins, there's no worms there because there's nothing for them to eat. They're usually from midway up to the top, so that is still composting down. Although I can take some of that out of the top, and I bet there's good compost right at the bottom. But this one was emptied. I've got about 6 bags, 7 bags, whatever, of nice compost here. And I mean really nice. That's all been sieved so to get all the bindweed and everything out of it. This bed, this was actually dug out to a spade's depth down, and I filled it with about 6 bags of compost I'd taken from the compost bin. I'm just finding bits of this lying around my allotment, and this came off the roof of the trading hut in one of the storms. It looks like some sort of industrial tape they've used, but there's not an awful lot going down. We have got some beetroots and some what do you call it, spinach there, perpetual spinach or something like that. The shed needs a bit of a tidy. It's getting a bit difficult to get in and find things. They're just hook that back up. This can go in my pocket, I'll go home. So, yeah, this has been covered over. I'll leave this covered over. I might, I'm thinking about using this bed for lettuces, but that's subject to change. This bed's going to be used for tomatoes this year. Obviously going to be using some of these for beans, and I'll use the rest of that bed for whatever I can get in it, really. You know, things like try turnip and maybe more salad stuff, maybe mooli. That bed's got all onions and garlic in it. So the strawberries are going to come out of there, and the strawberries are going to go in there. And this bed that I'm creating here, this will be used for my carrots. So yeah, bit of progress. Glad I've got all this wood cut, and I went and bought the wood during the week. So this is the first chance I've had to come up and cut it to size, make sure I've got enough, and get it stained just to help weatherproof it a little bit. So yeah, hopefully I have a nice robust table next week. Still nothing on the purple sprouting broccoli. I do hope it's purple sprouting broccoli. I'm looking forward to that. This is one of the plants that I probably can't grow enough of because we eat so much of it. So yeah, that's everything today. Well, that's everyone. Thanks for watching. A lot of random things done today. As I said, my neighbours were all over their plot this afternoon, so I didn't do too much filming while they were there. There's a lot of new people took on plots, which is quite good. So yeah, hopefully they'll get all the plots all ready for the spring and we can all set to go. But that's me for today, so thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you again soon sometime.